Hi, how are you guys? It's really not about not having any money, but it's about making the most of the spirit of just being the most creative you can with regardless of the resources. And we have a very similar spirit in the music industry. It's called DIY. And Matt Pinfield, for me, was embodiment of DIY when I was a kid. I used to watch Matt on TV when I was a kid growing up on 120 Minutes, and to me, he was like, I don't even know what to call it. We were signed to a small independent label from LA, and Matt was just like this. To me, I didn't know anybody famous. I didn't know anyone important. I was just in a small, shitty punk rock band. And out of nowhere one day, my friend met Matt Pinfield at a show, and somehow my name came up, and Matt's like, "Oh, I really like his band. Let's call him." So I get a phone call from my friend, and my friend's like, "Hold on, Matt Pinfield wants to talk to you." And I get on the phone, and Matt Pinfield was like, "Gabe, what's up, man? I really love your record. I really love this song." Like a song that no one heard on the record. Like, amazing. Like, a guy that really cared about music. And in the music industry, what's so rare is that there are very few people who actually care about music. So that's the first time I met Matt, and I'm like, wow, this is it. I already knew he cared about music because he's the walking encyclopedia of music. So I got to have a relationship with Matt. He got a job at Columbia Records. I was already signed, and I needed new management. So Matt's like, come to my office, let's talk, whatever. And everyone else in the music industry is like really busy, worrying about their own projects, their own artists, getting ahead. And Matt's taking time out of his day for a guy who's already signed on a different label. He's going to have no financial interest whatsoever. And he talks to me, sits down with me, listens to my music, and I'm nobody. And he's just listening to it, talking to me about it, like whatever. And he gives me advice. He's like, oh, you need a new manager. You should go with this guy. And he introduced me to the manager now who's been my manager for 10 years. And I have Matt to thank for that. I mean, he was one of the first people I met who was really completely selfless, really loved music from a place of just passion and just really being a fan. And so he introduced me to my manager, and this is where the big vision of the wallet part comes in. So I was signed to a really shitty label, typical band cliche story. You don't know what you're doing. You sign a contract. You don't know what it says. Your parents can't help you out. You get screwed, so you're stuck in this contract. And Matt helped me with a plan to get off the deal, get new management, and record a record. We recorded a full album. Then after that, and probably against the interest of his own record company, helped us to create a really big bidding war for our own album. And he was the architect of that. So, and that was the first time I made money from music. I mean, I had been playing music for years. I had been touring, sleeping in my friends' houses, really my friends' parents' houses. Before that, I was playing music for fun and just doing it. And Matt helped me turn it into a career. So I can think of no one more deserving for this award than Matt Pinfield.
I love Gabe very much. And because even before those early days, I remember he and I talking on the phone. Just to give advice to musicians, it was always a thing that really meant the world to me. To be able to talk to young musicians and say, you're sleeping on someone's couch, you're rolling in the van. Hey, I've been there, because in my early days of college radio, and then when I was trying to break into the business and no one would have me, I was breaking down on Route 18 in East Brunswick on New Year's Day with a snowstorm and fucking walking 4 miles to find gas. Bowie said it right. He said, ain't there one damn song that can make me break down and cry? And I love music that much. I've led a very unconventional life. As a kid, I came from a very poor family. My dad had a heart attack at 25 years old. He was a Marine. So he went back to school to become a teacher in Athens, Georgia, where I was born. We had no money, but he bought this record player used, like this one that dropped 45s, you know what I mean? Like back in the 60s. And I would sit there, man, and I would listen to Motown and The Who and the Beatles and the Kinks. And I loved those records so damn much that I knew that's what I wanted to be. So here's the thing. This award I'm getting tonight, I have to dedicate to my 2 daughters, Jessica and Maya, who I love very much. I want you guys to hear something about my father, because he died in 2008, and I was right next to him. I held his hand when he died. He was such a cool motherfucker, and he loved me. You know what I mean? And he He actually built my first stereo out of wood, speakers, shellac, and knobs. No, my dad, yeah, he built that. Because we were so fucking poor. How about the empty wallet part? Yeah, I get it. We also did something very unique. I wanted to be a DJ so bad. I loved the radio that he built a transmitter in my basement when I was 9 years old, going on 10. And we ran the wire up the antenna. And it only broadcast 2 blocks. But I was a superstar for 2 blocks. But my dad, he loved me, and he knew that was my dream, to be in music, to be a part of music. And that's why when Gabe talks about the things that matter, it's like, I love music, and I love musicians, and I love people so much. And this award is for all the musicians who have to sleep on someone's couch, drive in a shitty van, don't know whether they're going to have enough gas to get to the next gig. I am so grateful for the very interesting, unconventional life I've had. You know, and I've interviewed pretty much almost everyone that I love. You know, I've interviewed Ringo and Paul. I've interviewed the Stones. I've interviewed Pete Townsend. I've interviewed Ray Davies of the Kinks. You'll like this one. Ray Davies looks at me and goes, I could write a really fucking interesting song about you. And then Pete Townsend looked at me and went, I fucking heard all about you. But he whispered in my ear about bands he loved. He's like, Matt, he goes, don't you think Willie Mason's better by himself than with a band? I sat across the couch from David Bowie, and David Bowie asked me advice about a record. I got to A&R one of his records before he was even off his old label, which is something interesting that Gabe said. So I worked with Bowie. I worked with a lot of people that I loved. I'm just super grateful for the life that I've had, to meet my heroes, and to work in music because it's all I've ever wanted to do. I love music. I love songs. And I love the way a song makes you feel inside yourself. Folks, thank you. The heart and soul is all about music for me. Thank you.